Hi, my name is Sam Price. Right now, my voice is a little under the weather, but don't worry. Every single week, I give you the top-down macro analysis for Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, Tether dominance, Total 3, the NASDAQ, S&P futures, the DXY. We're also going to talk about gold, Sol, Ethereum, and SOLBTC, and maybe another chart too that'll blow your mind. So what am I seeing here for Bitcoin? Well, the first thing I want to look at is weekly support and resistance. You always want to be looking and channeling your weekly support and resistance. Very important that you're looking at weekly support and resistance. So the last big resistance we have for Bitcoin on the weekly is 51,800. We did test it on a wick and we got back to the upside. And then these two candles, as you can see, have created a base. That's about 55,008. Now, as I said earlier today on my stream, if you lose 55,008, it's likely you go further down here to about 51,800. If you lose that, you come all the way back down to 43,800. So it's on the radar that we could see lower lows for Bitcoin. And right now, this candle will close bearishly engulfing of that, that candle body to that candle body. And that is bearish. And the candle is also losing a key support on the weekly, which is about 58,000 right now. So we're losing weekly support on this weekly candle. If that closes as such on Sunday night, that'll be a very bearish sign. And it's likely we're going to test 55.5 and then maybe even go lower down to 52. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see $44,000 again. It could happen for Bitcoin. It's in the cards. This guy's had as a shoulder, head, right shoulder vibe. And, we really needed this candle to close bullishly on the weekly. And right now that's just not happening. So I would be on the lookout for that. Very, very key insight on the daily. The daily is attempting to make a bounce. There's a chance the daily does get the bounce. And when you look at the bigger target, everyone's kind of watching this bigger flag, right? Could we get a higher low here on the daily that pushes us further to the upside? It's really up to the daily if it can change this. Stochastics kind of say we're in the middle. There's indecisive on multiple time frames. A lot of people are long, other people are short. Some people think it's up, some people think it's down. The market is in some heavy indecision right now. You also have, elections coming up, people talking. There's just a lot of movement, all right? Fed rate hike coming in September, which looks possible too, which should be good for risk on assets. And maybe people are waiting for that moment in time. So we're just kind of at a standing point here where there's a lot of speculation on the market. It's putting a lot of pressure on BTC, gold, everything else. Gold hitting an all-time high today. I want to talk about that. And we're also going to look at the DXY. So this flag could break to the upside. It's not over yet. And maybe we come for a double bottom too. My thing is, once Bitcoin loses 52, what is it, like 51,006 or 52,000? Like, I just, I don't see how it doesn't come down and test. We have big gaps in the VRVP. We lost this liquidity. We did bounce here. So you're like, can we hold the higher low? What you want to see for a long is a daily candle close back above previous resistance. Yesterday we lost it. I want to see if this candle can reclaim that key area. That key area is going to be 58,000. Basically 500. There was a battle at 58.5 today. So you get back above 58.5, there's a chance you get back to 67.8. You keep closing candles below 58.5, and then we have to suggest you're going to test the bottom of the channel and then go further to the downside for Bitcoin. The total market cap in all of cryptocurrency, right, basically tells the same story because Bitcoin has a lot of Bitcoin dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance is how much Bitcoin has of the market. You can see we have key resistance that we wicked off of. And now we're actually below where this is resistance for Bitcoin. It's actually, which is a support for Bitcoin, this little key area here. If you go back to the Bitcoin chart, it's actually resistance for the total market cap. You can see that the altcoins are weighing a little bit and they're getting sold off too today, which is creating a little more of a red action here. People are telling everyone to buy the dips and crypto Twitter's bugging out again. And I'm telling everyone to be careful and watch Bitcoin one day at a time. DCA into only projects that matter like Ondo, Caspa, things that have shown really, really resilience, ton throughout everything else. I would kind of wait for it to resonate because they can go up and down so much faster. So I'm really only DCAing into big projects that have blue chip alts per se, and everything else. I'm just in altcoin and Bitcoin, and then I'm waiting. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing I say should be taken as financial advice. But this is what I'm looking at. The total market cap had a beautiful wick, and you want to see it hold. But again, this weekly candle will close bearish, and it's the same story as Bitcoin, really. You can wrap them up because of Bitcoin dominance. You want to look at the 12-hour, we could break out of this flag, but the flag isn't as beautiful as the flag for Bitcoin, right? At least today we have somewhat of a green candle on Bitcoin. We don't have that yet. It'll be beautiful if we get the reversal, even to the upside here. It could suggest that maybe we get the spring out of the falling, broadening wedge, which I've seen a few times in my life. So Bitcoin has also broken out of this similar pattern in 2015, 16, I guess, 2021, and it looks like it may do it again here. So there's a chance, can Bitcoin break? What we really want to see is the total market cap get above 213. Total 3 is going to have a very, very similar story because of the market's pressure, but it's going to have probably a little more of a bearish tone. And see, like this looks more like a descending triangle than it does look like a falling wedge flag. That tells me that altcoins could struggle here. They don't look amazing. It could eventually turn into a falling wedge and break out, and that's what we're looking for, but there's no guarantees. So this is just one thing on the radar that we're trying to see, and the daily's overbought too as well. Altcoins got heavily rejected by that key level. You needed to break back above that even just for up and down price action. Right now, it does look like we may go lower to the downside. If the altcoins do drop, you'd have to take a measured move of the base of this. And I'm just saying, you could say, wow, could there be another black swan event of some type? Are we 2 seconds away from some type of really strange weaponry? And I don't want to say that. Actually, I like to project positivity always. But there's a lot of turmoil going on, and I don't give in to the fear. But the reality is that the market could react in strange ways. And right now, there's some foreshadowing that the altcoins may get a pretty big drop. So I just want you to understand that that's possible right now, okay? I'm not saying it's guaranteed. It's possible. You'd much rather get a daily close on the alts above 575. That would give you at least some breathing room. Right now, I see kind of a head and shoulder pattern to me that doesn't look amazing. Could really break to the downside. So altcoins to me I wouldn't say, hey, it's time to buy every altcoin. I would only be DCAing in things like Ton, Caspa, Ondo, things that have shown extreme strength against the rest of the market, and everything else is probably could take another big hit. So just be careful. You have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, a lower low, you have another lower high. Bitcoin has not shown you, and the total market cap of the altcoins has not shown you that it's breaking the trend. Once you break out here and then come down and retest the top of this, that would be more of a buy zone for me. Right now, this is more of a sell zone until it shows me they can get back above $576 billion. We move over to Bitcoin dominance because Bitcoin dominance is so key, okay? And remember, this is my weekly macro technical analysis. You want to watch this every single Friday. It's going to give you the sauce that you need. So here we see that we could come further to the downside here. Bitcoin dominance, however, Bitcoin dominance is getting low on the daily. I'll tell you what, when the market drops really fast, Bitcoin dominance pumps because people rush out of their altcoins to save some face value. People that don't want to go back into the dollar, they go back into altcoins. I mean, they go back from altcoins into Bitcoin. Because if the altcoins drop 50 to 70%, Bitcoin will probably drop just 8 or 9, maybe even. The biggest drops Bitcoin has are 20, and they take some days. So people rush into Bitcoin when altcoins dump, when the market dumps. So don't just think Bitcoin dominance pumps only when the market pumps, because Bitcoin dominance can also pump. So it looks like Bitcoin dominance is getting oversold. Now, whenever you flip to the US Tether dominance and you see if US Tether dominance is overbought, that usually tells us that we're going to get a nice pump and the Bitcoin dominance is serving us to the upside. But if we see that Bitcoin dominance is on the low, ready to pump, and so is Tether dominance, they're both low in the stochastics, that tells me that people are going to be rushing into Tether and into Bitcoin dominance. So by juxtaposing Bitcoin dominance and Tether dominance on this macro analysis every week, you're going to get a pretty good, some probability of what's likely going to happen in the market. Let's take a look at the 3-day chart. The 3-day chart's overbought, suggesting that Bitcoin dominance actually may struggle a little bit. That could be awesome for the altcoins, but it also might just be the whole market slumping a little bit too as well. But at the end of the day, it does suggest that even if we go somewhat sideways, that Bitcoin's getting ready for some type of parabolic move, because a drop usually doesn't make a big pump like this. This would have to be people really jumping into Bitcoin. So, it kind of makes me think Black Swan, right? But then a nation state buys Bitcoin to survive through the war. Bitcoin prevails and then starts to pump. So it almost makes me think can a Black Swan create Bitcoin's pump? And honestly, I think it's designed to do that at one point in its life. And I think people are going to be in awe when it finally really takes storm. Let's take a look. This is a good sign here. The 3-day chart is more overbought with bearish divvy. That's what we want to see for tether dominance. That rests me a little easy right now. However, it's oversold right now too. So whenever this is oversold, just like Bitcoin dominance, it tells me to be careful. It tells me that the market may be getting a dump. I'd be careful for the next 4 to 5 days. It's telling me to be, and you got above the 200, you got a golden cross. So the 3 days okay, but it could have some more momentum. And the daily is suggesting that we're flagging out and that people are starting to kind of get a little bit of fear and get into tether. So there may be more chances to buy Bitcoin around the $40,000 level is what we're seeing here for tether dominance. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just showing you these possibilities. If you watch this every week, you'll have more faith in what I'm saying. You'll be able to tackle the market better because each of my analysis will get you further ahead. And then you'll be like, oh, I get it. I see what he's saying now. I'm fully in tune. Okay. Moving forward, let's take a look at the DXY. The DXY is also important because we want to see how it moves with the market too as well. There is bricks and there are sell-offs. People are changing, right? Like they're starting to slowly, basically, get rid of that petrodollar as best they can. The DXY looks like it may be collapsing with Bitcoin this time, which is kind of strange, but it is what it is. It looks like we're going to get a drop in the DXY to the downside. However, you do see some bullish divergence. There's a chance we get a pop. So I would watch the DXY on the daily, but I would also watch it on the 4-hour time frame. See how the 4-hour reacts to this 21-day moving average here. See if you can flag out. If you can flag out and you start to see green turn, there's that cup and handle. It's kind of similar to what Bitcoin's doing, right? And you want to see if the DXY can bounce. Otherwise, it could likely just double top here and not get back above 103. What do I see happening to the DXY? To me, it's in a downtrend. High, low, lower, high. I just see it making another lower high and continuing. My destination for the DXY is 101.67 in about a month, 2 months from now, but you never know. Let's take a look at the S&P futures, ES1, S&P minis. So we told you that it was likely going to make a move to the upside out of this flag. And remember, I drew it because we had bullish divergence, and I drew, remember, these two things, and I said, look, it's probably going to bounce. We even gave you your 618 Fibonacci tracements. You can see that the levels that we could bounce back were from here, and that's from this bigger impulse. If I even just take it from this impulse, which makes more sense, we hit the 786. So impulse, the top, 786, bounce. There's your money printer right there. A little bit of hidden bullish divergence as well as this swings up. That's so funny. A little bit of hidden divergence as well as that swings up and that swings down, and we get the pop to the upside. That's my go-to model when I trade. I love seeing that. So let's take a look at what's happening to the S&P on the daily. It is starting to get the bounce as I suggested. I told you they have to print this money. I told you that it doesn't make sense that the S&P would collapse. We did get the bounce. I drew that little flag here days ago, the last time we did our analysis, and I said, look for us to break the 1 hour 200 MA, and we'd get a pop, and we did that exact thing. So we found the hidden bullish on the bigger time frame. We were able to call this little flag on the last time we were here. So now what? Well, you're getting a little away from the 21-day moving average. I would look at your 4-hour and see where it is on the 21. That's looking nice to me, though. It's looking like we're going to kind of see shoulder, shoulder, head, right shoulder. It looks like we may make some chop here that will look like kind of right shoulderies, some up and downs, and then break on out to the upside. I like how close we are to the 21. I like to see the 21 crossing the 200 MA, and we're above a point of control. This all tells me that we're going to see a bigger move here for the S&P. It may come up, come on down, and make more of the structured, but I do see some type of pump coming. Next week, I say this flag plays out, and you're up here somewhere, and, we'll come back next week on Friday, and you'll see exactly if I was correct or not. Usually I am, but we'll see. You never know. I don't have to be. Again, same thing here. We made this flag on August 9th, right? Today is the 16th. We told you we were likely going to see the S&P break out. We even gave you the flag, which was the measured move, and said we were likely going right to there in 1956. It's exactly what the S&P did. It got rejected by the 200 MA. It's now coming back down to the 21. This is the strategy I teach you guys every single day on the 1 minute. The 21 and the 200, and how we juxtapose those two things. Look for this flag to break out, but for the S&P, it looks like the Nasdaq's just going to take a little more of a downward pitch than the S&P. Like tech has a little, for whatever reason. But again, once that touches, I see support or resistance, and I don't see why we won't continue to the upside. So I see a move for the Nasdaq as well, slightly sideways, and then a push. Once we break that 200 MA, you're going to get this shoulder, shoulder, head. See the inverted head and shoulders starting to form here? That's likely going to break to the upside. You get a gap in the VRVP and then continue to liquidity at 20,700. Again, I could be wrong, but this looks very, very likely for the NASDAQ, right? Gold hitting an all-time high today. How could we not talk about our baby gold? Gold, baby gold. Got a little bit of a sell-off, but you can see I would expect gold to pull back all the way to about 2,400 to the top and bottom of this channel. I would expect gold to then consolidate for about a month. And then when we get our pump in October, it seems like the DXY is going to drop drastically because that's what happens when we get our pumps, and it happens around the same time every year. And that's when we're going to get gold's move. And I see gold headed literally by February of 2025 to possibly $3,040 an ounce. If gold suggests that that can happen, I don't see how Bitcoin doesn't at least gain some more value than it has today. Sol, Ethereum. Sol beating up on Ethereum. We told you it was likely going to continue. So far, everything is looking good for Sol, Ethereum. You could possibly put it in this rising wedge now, like this, and see that it's starting to consolidate. But I still see a bigger move over time for Sol, Ethereum, and now it actually extended the target for Sol ETH for more gains. It's a 0.12 ETH per Sol. But I see Sol just continuing to beat up on Ethereum over time. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm starting to see for Solana, Ethereum. SOLBTC, why I like to look at it, because if the market's healthy, Solana BTC will continue to go sideways or pump. So we don't want to see SOLBTC take a nasty drop. It looks like it may. We were looking at Solana earlier today, and it didn't look amazing. If Bitcoin can consolidate at least and get some of these little moves here, and the DXY can drop, SOLBTC can fulfill this and continue up for 118% gains. Everybody, I think we did it. That was Bitcoin total 3, US Tether dominance, Bitcoin dominance, the DXY, gold, the S&P futures, the NASDAQ futures, SOLBTC, and Ethereum BTC. Thank you so much for watching. I will get my voice back. Have no fear. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.